Happening now, the president has made his decision on who will serve as a justice on the highest court in the land. Coming up, we're going in depth on U.S. Supreme Court nominee Judge Neil Gorsuch. This week, President Donald Trump kept a campaign promise when he announced Judge Neil Gorsuch as his choice to sit on the Supreme Court. Judge Gorsuch will replace the late Justice Antonin Scalia, who died nearly a year ago. To go in depth on this selection and what it means for the court is Barry University School of Law Professor Terri Day. As always, thanks so much for stopping by. Okay, let's see if we can dissect all of this. So did President Trump hold to his promise to appoint a judge in the conservative role of Justice Scalia?
Yes, and the reason being is Judge Gorsuch, like Justice Scalia, believes in interpreting the Constitution that you start with its original intent. And as we've been watching the news these past few days, we've heard a lot about originalism. Well, originalism can mean different things. One of the things is starting with what did the text mean at the time that the framers drafted it. But others look at originalism, that understanding that traditions change with history, so you begin with what it was meant, but you realize that traditions change, and so you adapt it to modern times. Justice Scalia and Judge Gorsuch are more like the former, not the latter.
Okay, so if Judge Gorsuch is confirmed, what can we expect from the Supreme Court?
Well, I don't think there'll be much difference because, remember, the balance of the court isn't changing. Judge Gorsuch would be replacing Justice Scalia, so his judicial philosophy in terms of decision-making is very similar to Justice Scalia.
Of course, the big question has to be, a lot of people's minds, is the future of the Roe versus Wade. What is your take on that?
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people see a new justice in light of the individual liberties and individual rights. And certainly Roe versus Wade is one of the big ones. Last term, the Supreme Court, with 8 justices, came out with an opinion on restrictions on abortion rights. Justice Kennedy joined the majority in striking down 2 provisions from Texas that would literally close lots of abortion clinics, and as a result, that would create an undue burden on a woman's right to choose. So I'm not sure. I guess the answer is that Judge Gorsuch, although he values human life above all else, because he's written a lot about, right to assisted suicide and euthanasia, Judge Gorsuch, also like Justice Scalia, doesn't believe in reading into the Constitution implied rights. So he probably would vote with more conservative justices.
Now, of course, President Obama selected Merrick Garland to replace Scalia, and the GOP senators refused to schedule the hearing. So do you think Democrats will be out for revenge?
I hope not. I hope
There's a lot of infighting on Capitol Hill already.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the thing about the candidacy of Judge Gorsuch is he is eminently qualified. It's hard to argue that a judge with his credentials is not suited to sit on the U.S. Supreme Court. And the decision shouldn't be a litmus test, although I know a lot of politicians make it that way. But it shouldn't be whether or not a particular nominee supports abortion rights or LGBT rights, or, that should not be the test. The test should be, is this a man of integrity? Is this somebody with stellar credentials, has a long record of very favorable reviews from attorneys who have argued in his court? He adheres to the Constitution. He believes in the Constitution. And if we remember what he said when President Trump nominated him, he said that if a judge likes every single opinion that he signs on to, he's not a good judge.
Okay.
So that recognizes that Judge Gorsuch understands that he's not there to impose his personal views on things. He's there to be true to the Constitution and follow the law.
Young too, only 49, so he's got a good 40 years or so on there since you're a Supreme Court judge for life.
Yes.
So with two current justices getting into over 80 and another in the 70s, does the president really have an opportunity to create a solidly conservative court given the older ages?
Yeah. Well, the two of which people are more liberal people are concerned is Justice Ginsburg and Justice Breyer. Justice Kennedy also is talked about retiring, and some people say that now that Judge Gorsuch is appointed, if he's confirmed, that maybe Justice Kennedy will retire, giving President Trump another opportunity to nominate someone similar to Judge Gorsuch, Justice Scalia. But
so that could change the balance.
That would change the balance. But certainly, if a nominee replaced Justice Ginsburg or Justice Breyer, that would definitely change the balance.
Well, we'll have to wait and see how this all plays out. Oh, as always, Professor Terri Day, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Okay.